So, okay, I, for whatever random reason, decided I'm going to do a live today. And it's just me. I'm not interviewing anyone, where I normally tend to do a lot of live interviews. I'm not interviewing anyone. But I thought instead of just randomly rambling, that I would have a little topic to talk about, which is working from home. I don't know if it'll interest very many people, but hey, I work from home. I have worked from home for the last 8 years, I want to say, since 2014, and it's worked out really well for me. I enjoy working from home, but I think that's mostly because I'm an introvert and I like being on my own. But still having some interaction with people. So, I chat online with my friends and my colleagues, and, I have that kind of interaction and things like that. So, it works out well. So yeah, working from home. Um, I don't know how long this live is going to be for, because I have a few things that I've put down as a topic to talk about. And then if it gets interesting or not, we'll see. I don't know how long I'm going to be rambling for. But okay, working from home. Number one, have a dedicated workspace. I think it's a lot harder to work from home if you're working from the dining room table, and the table has to be cleared for meals, and you're not set up, and you're not necessarily comfortable with all your work things and your computer and things like that around you. And it's not a space where you can focus. A lot of people work from the sofa or a couch, or, with their laptop. It's not something I can do. I have converted an actual bedroom in the office, in the house, into a bedroom. As you can see behind me, there are bookshelves. And I have a desk with a desktop computer, because that's how I like to work. I do have a laptop for when I travel, but I don't use the laptop very often, because I just prefer a desktop computer. I get a lot more grunt, I get a lot more storage, and I'm just more comfortable working at a desk. I know a lot of my friends don't. I know I have a lot of friends who prefer to work, on a laptop or sitting at a couch and with a laptop. My husband actually likes to work from an IKEA chair. It's the Poang chair, which is ergonomic and really, really comfortable. He's got a bad back, so he finds that works really, really well for him, in terms of, um, you know, helping his back not hurt after a full day sitting down working. And he uses a lap desk, and he's got a great setup that works really well for him. But he also has a standing desk in his office for when he needs to do more like bigger computer power type stuff. And he stands at that desk, and it's very tall. I can't use it. Well, I can, but like it's way up, and it's a struggle for me to actually use it. I have in the past when I've needed to, or when I've been without a computer, but it's and it's kind of worked. But I prefer my desk, and that's kind of my working from home situation. I have a desk, I have a chair. The desk I've had, how long have I had this desk? I want to say since 2008. So 2008, 2018, 14 years. That's still going strong. I love this desk. And I have a chair that's even older. So this chair I've had since 2000, when I had my first office. My own first office, and I could pick my own chair. So it's 22 years old. I don't even know if it's like a good chair anymore, or a ergonomic or anything like that, but it's a comfortable chair. I love it. It I don't know, it's molded itself to my body now, so it's comfortable, and I love it, and I hope I never ever have to change that chair. So, and I'm sitting on it right now. So, yeah. And the second thing is to dress for work. When you're at home and you're in your comfy clothes and you kind of think, well, nobody's going to see me. I'm on my own. I don't need to get dressed up. Kind of true. I did go through a phase where there was no makeup and I was on my what I call comfy at home clothes all the time. And it's okay. But I think I got to the point where I had a little bit of a mindset switch and I thought I just want to look a bit put together and I want to look better for when I am, working. And so I decided to stop putting on makeup because I didn't put on any makeup for quite a while, and I do enjoy the process of putting on makeup. I'm not saying you have to, but I guess the point is to dress for work so that it puts you kind of in a work mindset. For me, I'm still in my comfy clothes. I put on a slightly more presentable top, like this cute sweater I have on today, when I do a live or when I do video meetings and calls like that with clients. But I put on makeup, and the process of putting on makeup is kind of fun for me, and I like how I look after I put on makeup. So that's kind of like my work look. And if I'm going to be on camera and I'm going to be talking to someone or doing something like this, I slick my hair back because I think it looks neat and it looks presentable. But if I'm just at home and I'm on my own, I do the makeup, but I leave my hair down because I actually find I'm more comfortable with my hair down because it doesn't feel quite as tight. But I can do the hair back thing for a few hours and feel comfortable. But yeah, dress for work. You don't have to. These are just things that work for me. I know my husband doesn't dress for work. He's comfy in his pajamas, and he works in his pajamas. But when he has client meetings and things like that, then he'll shave and comb his hair and get washed up and get dressed up for his client meetings, and again for when he's on camera, and that works for him. So you need to find something that works for you. Oh, I've got some comments. Oh, hello, Steve. I don't need makeup. Yes, thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. Yes, it does make me feel better, and I like the way I look. And eyebrows. I really like having eyebrows. And I find lipstick. I don't. This is like a girl thing. I find I like the way lipstick brightens up my face. So, again, and if you're a guy and you want to wear makeup, go for it. Absolutely. Embrace your makeup loving self. What else? Have a routine. I have to admit my routines are a bit haphazard, but I do kind of have a routine. I wake up in the morning, I have coffee, I kind of lounge around in bed a little bit, sometimes a lot, and I read, I catch up on social media, and I chat with some friends if they're online a little bit, and I kind of have this morning to myself thing before I get up and start the day, and I'm in the office. And once I'm in the office, I'm in the office, and I'm in the office until I'm done with the day. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter, depending on what I have to do and what my to-do list looks like. And, we break for lunch. Tends to be kind of a late lunch, around about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. But we also sometimes kind of have a snack around about 11. So, work out the kind of routine that works for you. Oh, okay. Somebody is asking me to, I'm gonna, no, 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 thank you, Deanna or whoever you are. Sorry. Not gonna go live with, joint live with you, and only saw half your face. A bit strange. Uh, and, and that was a little off topic, right? So, yes. Whereas, lost my train of thought. Food, routine, right. Lunch, yes. So we break for lunch around about 2, 3, sometimes later. Um, Sometimes we have errands. Sometimes we go out for a pub lunch. Fridays, especially, it's kind of like a pub lunch day. And we break around about midday, go to the pub, have a lovely pub lunch. They make fantastic burgers. This pub we go to, and then we come home. I go back to work and keep going until I'm done with the day. So that's kind of the routine, and it's a loose routine. I'm not going to say you have to have like a strict routine or anything like that. You just kind of have to figure out what hours you want to be in the office and how long you want to work where you're productive. I tend to be very focused, so once I start, I can keep going and going and going and going, and that's not necessarily a good thing. So you have to be mindful of your energy levels and your productivity when you're working from home too. So kind of try to keep that in mind. Have a to-do list. I have found I've always kind of loosely had a to-do list. I had this thing at the back of my mind where I kind of had, okay, I need to do these things. And I had kept a little notebook with a bunch of things I needed to do. But most recently, and I've found it to be a huge productivity helper for me, is to have a to-do list. I use Google Calendar, and I use the tasks feature in there. I like it a lot better than Outlook. I stopped using Outlook a long time ago because I never liked it and it drives me crazy. So I have tasks in my Google Calendar. I look at them. I think I get reminders. I think. Don't quote me on it because I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I do get reminders. You kind of put them in at whatever time you like. I have this thing where I just put all my reminders down the bottom of my calendar, from like 4 o'clock downwards, because I tend not to have too many meetings after that time. So I just use that space for tasks, and I can look there and know, okay, I've got all these things I need to do for today. And anything I finish, I can and mark as complete and cross off. Anything I don't finish, I can drag into the next day or drag later in the week. I have repeated. Nice thing about that also is I can have repeating tasks that I set so that I remember to do them at at that time or at that day or earlier, but I get a reminder that I see it and say, okay, I've got to do this. So I do it early or I do it on the day. One of the things is to invoice my clients. I have this habit of forgetting to invoice my clients. So and I don't know why it took me so long to do, but I put it in my calendar now that on the 3rd of every month, I invoice my clients. The ones with, regular monthly billing cycles, as opposed to clients that I invoice, at the end of a task or a deliverable who buy like a one-off product from me. So, repeating tasks are a good thing to have in a task list. And Steve mentioned that he keeps his task list in Evernote. Yeah, I use Evernote too, and I love Evernote for all sorts of things, but I I kind of like to see it in my calendar, and I like to see the reminders pop up. I think they do. I really do think they do. Um, and that kind of works really well for me. Um, and so what else? To-do lists. Be diligent about your work time versus your free time. When you work from home, there's no structure. So, like I said earlier, you might want to kind of figure out a routine for yourself. Some people say, okay, I wake up at 5, I work from 6 to 10, I take a break, and then, whatever works for you. But figure out what works and then kind of work with it and stick to it. But when I talk about oh, Steve, no, definitely not gonna forget invoicing you. Yeah, gonna invoice you. Um, and be diligent about your work time versus your free time. When you're in work mode, work. And when you're allowing yourself free time, have the free time. Because if you mix up the free time versus the work time, then you're not going to get everything on your task list done. Oh, hey, Walt. What's Evernote? Evernote is an online app that you can also install on your computer, and it's actually a note app. So what you can do is you can create a notebook, and then you can put lots of different notes in there with a title and tags and things like that. So I have a notebook for all my clients where my client information goes in there. Any of their work requests and things like that goes in there. I have a notebook for technology, and in that notebook then I have all the information I need for things like my Gmail and my Linktree and my TikTok and my Canva and whatever app or technology that I use with links to their website, any special information or special login information I need, passwords. If you want to put passwords in there, there is a premium version of Evernote where you can actually encrypt, and so if you put in something that's private or a password, you can actually lock it, and then anybody who looks at your Evernote, won't be able to see it, and you have to click on it and put in a password to unlock it to look at that information. I do that with my banking information. So it's in there, but it's locked. So there's a double layer of protection between your Evernote, logging into your Evernote, two-factor authentication. Make sure you always have two-factor authentication on, and then encrypting specific information in your note as well. Great app. I love it. I've used it for years. I don't know what I'd do without it, because I just, every little bit of information goes in there in its specific notebook category, and it's searchable, so I can easily search for stuff I'm looking for. So yeah, that's Evernote. But yes, work time. Back to work time versus free time. You need free time, and you need to take breaks. And the next kind of few points I have kind of all linked together, because it's easy to fall into a trap when you work from home to keep working and working and working and not take a break. They say you need to get up and, have a stretch or walk or, something every hour or half hour or whatever it is, just to give your body a little bit of movement, so you don't get sore shoulders from typing and a sore back from sitting and all that sort of stuff. For me, naturally, I get up, I make a cup of tea, I use the bathroom, and also I stop to cook lunch. And that gives me a break. And then when I have lunch, I watch a little bit of TV. So that's a half hour, 45 minutes of relaxation in the middle of the day with some TV, and then I can get back to work again. Um, Go out like every now and then, because you're home every day and you're working every day in the same space, and you don't have colleagues and things like that to talk to unless you're online, or you're chatting in a chat or things like that. So go out, whether it's to do a grocery run, or whether it's to go to the local pub for lunch. Our part of our routine is most Fridays we go and have a pub lunch. The pub is open for lunch from 12 to 2. We try to get there at 2. We're done at 12. We're done by 1, and then we're back and we can get back to work. And then there's the rest of the afternoon that we can work from. Be mindful too that you have a cutoff time. When you're working, you need to get to the point where you say, okay, I'm done by 6, or I'm done by 7, or I'm done by 5. Done by whenever you're done by, but stop. I know it's easier said than done. I struggle with that all the time. And there are times when, it's not that often, but there are times when I find myself working till 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. And that's not healthy in the long run. So I try to be done by 6, 6:37, around there. Earlier, every now and then, if I can swing it, but lately it hasn't been because it's been busy. And I work with a lot of clients in the US, and I work with a lot of different time zones. So I kind of have to factor that in as well. For example, yesterday I had a client who was Central Time US. I'm in Australian Eastern Standard Time. He was Central Time US, so when he contacted me, he said, I'd prefer to have a meeting in the morning because I have the kids in the evening. And I'm like, fine. And then I look at the time and I'm like, whoa, dude, 9 a.m. for you is a midnight for me. I might be awake at midnight, and I might be responding to messages or reading a book or something, but I'm not presentable. like no, being in front of the camera and having a meeting at midnight, those days are way past behind me. And we ended up doing 5 a.m. for him because he's kind of like an early riser and he can function at 5 a.m. I cannot. And 8 p.m. for me. And that was pretty late. By the time I was done and I was in bed, it was 10. And then, I was kind of wired, so I had a hard time relaxing, and I couldn't get to sleep. And also because I had to be coherent at 8 in the evening for a client call, and I hadn't slept well the night before. I took a little nap in the middle of the day, and that was not smart because I took a nap, and then I was up with the client, and then I was all wired, and then I couldn't sleep. So I read a book, and by the time I eventually went to sleep, it was 4 a.m. So, that's one of the pitfalls of working from home. And of course, there's the fact that I work with a lot of international clients. So I have clients in the UK, I have clients in the US, and of course in the US, the time zones can kind of make things different. East Coast is my favorite time zone because East Coast, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for me is, I think, like 6, 7, 8, 9 p.m. for them, my clients. Walt, you'll know because you're East Coast, right? If you're still on. So, and we've done a live together where it's like 9 o'clock in the evening for you, and it was 11 o'clock in the morning for me, which worked out really, real well. Um, so, time zones are something to bear in mind. And so, I'm talking about, work time versus free time, taking a break, um, you know, going out. Because what happens when you're working from home is you're home and you're in that chair and you're in that office all the time. Unless you make yourself get up, unless you make yourself go out. So go out. Um, you know, I have to cook lunch most days. I'm fortunate that my husband does not require it, and because there are only the two of us, sometimes I cook. A lot of times I cook enough for a couple of meals, so we have leftovers. But we do have to get out and run errands, so we try to fit that in. And then there are things like, life stuff, dentist appointments, doctor appointments, and all that kind of stuff that gets you out of the house around your routine. And that's a good thing, because you don't want to be stuck in that office, in that chair 24/7, because it will drag on you. And you need the break. You need that change of scenery. You need to refresh yourself. So let's talk about some work from home traps. And I've mentioned a lot of that already. Working all the time. I do it. It's something I do way too much of, and I'm not very good at switching that off. Because I find, like, if I get stuck into something, I'm very focused and I can be very productive, and I want to keep going. I don't sleep well, so a lot of times I wake up at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and then I'm working. I work a lot between 11 and 3 a.m., partly because I have overseas clients, international clients, and that's when they're awake. And I can send them messages and we can communicate and talk about stuff that we need to adjust and things with the work that I do. But also it's kind of quiet, and I have this weird thing where I like to sit in the dark in my office, like literally in the dark in my office with the lights all off, and the only light is coming from my monitor, and it's just bright enough that I can see my keyboard and type. And that's kind of the weird work me. And it's not healthy, and I do that way too often. So when you're working from home, you kind of need to not do things that I do. So do as I say, don't do as I do. Yeah. That's definitely true. So be careful when it comes to falling into the trap of like working all the time, because it can happen, especially if you're like me and you enjoy your work, or you have deadlines, or you've got a lot to do, and you're just trying to find extra hours in the day to get it all done. Not taking enough breaks. Get up and just walk around your dining room table, or just walk around the garden, or go and bug your husband for a kiss or a cuddle or whatever. Drives my husband mad, because I go in and bug him, but I kind of think it's legitimate, because I'm like, hey, what do you want for lunch? And hey, are you ready for lunch? And hey, would you like a cup of tea? Or hey, can you make me a cup of tea? It's winter here, so I'm getting a lot of hot chocolates at the moment, so that's really good. And I have a cup of coffee here. And so yeah, take breaks. Working on holidays and weekends. Oh, this is a biggie. I work 24/7, 7 days a week, every day. It's a bad thing to do. And it's common when you work from home. I work weekends, I work holidays. Yesterday, Monday was a public holiday here. It was the Queen's birthday. I worked. I kind of thought that I wouldn't work, but then I did work, and I worked half the day maybe, or a bit more than that. But then I ended up with that call with the client at 8 o'clock in the evening, and I'm kind of like, yeah, it's a holiday, and I've got a call with a client at 8 o'clock in the evening, so a lot of times with international clients, it's a holiday for you, but it's not a holiday for them. And then it's a holiday for them, and it's not a holiday for you. And so you kind of have to work around that. And I remember I did a year in Cambodia where we were building a bank, previous job, past life, that kind of thing. And that was a lot of fun. But Cambodia had something like 38 public holidays in a year, or 24, but when you count it all up, it was like 38 days of holidays. So it was like every time you turned around, there was a holiday. And if we were going to take every day of the holiday off, the project wouldn't get done. So we ended up working most holidays. And of course, if you don't work, you don't get paid. So, and I wanted to get paid since I was so far away from home, and I was, working long hours, and I just wanted to get it done. So yeah, I'm quite used to working holidays, but it can still be a bit of a bear. But my problem is I've gotten so used to working at least a little bit every day that I always end up at least working a little bit on a day off. Even if it's just communicating with my clients and making sure we're on top of everything, and things like that. And of course, I work in publishing, and all my clients are authors, and when they have deadlines, and when they have a book that's going to be released, and they need, editing done, or proofreading done, or they need newsletters sent out and things like that announced on, for an upcoming release, that all needs to be done, and that all needs to be done before release day, whether it's, a Monday or a Tuesday or whatever it is, so things like that need to get done on a weekend. So it's hard for me anyway to not work on a weekend or a holiday, but I'm trying to be better at it. So I kind of try to do it like a half day or only a few hours, or to just do some fun stuff. Like yesterday, I updated my portfolio, so it's not like work, but it's still a bit of work. So it's stuff that had to be done, and I took the time to do it. Not switching off enough when working from home. That one's kind of hard for me. My brain keeps going, and that's why I'm awake and up a lot in the middle of the night, doing stuff and thinking about stuff, and then getting up and doing the stuff I'm thinking about. It's hard for my brain to switch off, and I don't have any answers for that one, because I struggle with that on a daily basis, because my brain just goes and goes and goes. And I have this great idea for a video I want to do on TikTok. I have this idea of like wanting to do this live and talking about working from home. It's a bit random, but hey, maybe somebody would get some benefit out of that, of a couple of tips. And so the whole switching off thing, I'm not very good at. And we're coming up to the end of my list, so I'm almost done. You done with me? Getting up in the middle of the night to jot something down, and then ending up working for a few hours, or lots of hours. That happens to me a lot. I wake up in the middle of the night, and my brain is working, or I'm dreaming and my brain wakes me up and I'm thinking of something, and I think, I need to write this down, or I need to capture this so that I don't forget it. I have my iPad next to my bed, so I could probably do that. But sometimes I like to get up and use the keyboard on my computer because it's a lot faster. And the thought process from my brain to my fingertips to the keyboard, to getting it captured is a lot faster. So I don't lose that train of thought. But then the problem is if I'm in my office and I get up and I'm, writing something down, then I get stuck into it and I think, oh, maybe I'll just work and do some stuff for a little while. And okay, then that's 3 hours later and it's 2 a.m. So, wow, better get back to sleep, or it's 5 a.m. or, whatever. It's not so bad if I don't have any meetings early in the morning, or I don't need to be somewhere early in the morning and I can sleep in a little bit. But if I have a meeting the next day, I send these these calendar reminders to my husband that says, "Wake up the love of your life." It drives him nuts, but he'll know to wake me by a certain time because I have something I need to be up for, or to do. So and I'm generally up on my own anyway. I'm pretty good about waking myself up, but it helps every now and then when I'm like super duper tired to have somebody else wake me. And there was this one day last week where I think I had a client meeting or something, and I had to be up early, and he came in and gave me, I think, an extra half hour sleep, and I was like, no, not getting up. He's like, you've got a meeting, you have to get up, so yeah, that happens. So anyway, that's all I've got in terms of working from home tips, and I hope that was useful. But I'll do a really quick recap. Have a dedicated workspace, dress for work, have a routine, be diligent about work time versus free time, take regular breaks, have time off where you go out, even if it's for a quick lunch at the pub, to just get out, have a change of scenery, and some work from home traps, things not to fall into. Working all the time, not taking enough breaks, working on holidays and weekends, not switching off enough, and getting up in the middle of the night to jot something down and then ending up working for a few hours. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope this was helpful for you, and I'll have this on replay on my YouTube channel. You can find the links in my profile, and you'll have a link there for my YouTube channel. You can go and watch this again when you want to, are interested in hearing what I have to say. So thank you. I really appreciate you being here. Make sure you follow me, leave a few comments, some likes, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.